There's always a catch when a company takes a headset this big and shrinks it down into something this small. Whilst promising the exact same level of visual clarity, something has to give. And did they ruin the field of view? Is the tracking terrible? Does it overheat? Well, I've been testing the new Pimax Dream Air to find out exactly what Pimax sacrificed to make one of the world's smallest sim racing headsets. And the answer is going to surprise you. In this video we're checking out a true evolution for Pimax and we'll be testing a number of sim racing titles. Starting with the highly anticipated Assetto Corsa Evolution, to see what this headset can truly handle. We'll be putting the Dream Air through its absolute paces on the demanding circuits of Le Mans Ultimate. But hardware just isn't about the visuals. We'll be asking, does the Dream Air give us the long-term comfort that we need for serious competitive sim racing in iRacing? And all of this without the massive footprint of a traditional VR headset. Does this small form factor still deliver the very best in visual clarity when we push the limits in Automobilista 2? Jumping back into iRacing, we have one final major question to answer. Does the Dream Air perform as well as a heavyweight Pimax Crystal Super? The wait is over, the Pimax Dream Air is finally here. Let's get to it. For transparency, the Dream Air was sent to me for review purposes and Pimax won't get to see this video before all of you do. And all opinions are my own and I'm not being paid for this video. And you even get to see it before Pimax even will. So here's a quick overview of what to expect in the out-of-box experience. The packaging is premium and the first thing that strikes you is the Dream Air is tiny. And I mean tiny. This is it next to my iPhone 17 Pro Max for comparison. In the top section of the box we have some information and manuals, and the back compartment slides up and contains a DisplayPort connector and the accessories, which include the retaining clips that hold the prescription lens inserts in, and a soft microfiber cloth for cleaning. The facial interface is magnetic and held in with one central magnet, but this isn't the final production interface. Pimax will be shipping a revised facial interface to all new and existing Dream Air owners. But my friends at Studio Foam are also sending their new comfort mods soon, including an all-new Apache comfort strap and facial interface, and I'll be showing these in the next video. You can also get a 10% discount from Studio Foam accessories by using the link in the video description, and the Studio Foam comfort mods are an essential. So here's a close-up of the proprietary DisplayPort connectors. So the USB and DisplayPort connection from the headset go into this adapter box, and from there the power supply also goes into this box as well. The DisplayPort connection goes into your GPU and the USB goes into USB 3. The rear strap is velcroed and further revisions are in production, including third-party companies. Just like the Meta Quest, this velcro strap is supportive and the integrated speakers are also built into the arms. And then finally we have the power supply, which also includes the international fittings for various global countries. The Pimax Super has been my go-to VR headset now for over a year, and I still do believe that the Pimax Super is excellent. The interchangeable optical engines and modularity being standout features. And Pimax are doing a new limited time offer on the Pimax Super, giving you $200 off. You can also get an additional discount by using the link in the video description and using my discount code NLSImgaming or by scanning the QR code on screen. So what can we expect with the Dream Air? The Super Micro OLED has been one of the best optical engines for the Pimax Super, and in sim racing I've covered this extensively in recent videos. The Pimax Dream Air uses the same concave Micro OLED optical stack and 3840 by 3552 4K per eye resolution, which is an 8K combined. The field of view on the Super Micro OLED is 116 degrees horizontal with a 53 pixel per degree resolution. Now the only difference between the Pimax Super Micro OLED and the Dream Air in specifications is the horizontal field of view. In the Dream Air it's 110 degrees as opposed to 116 degrees on the Pimax Super. However, due to the closer to the lens distance, I found in test HMD results that in the Dream Air I was able to get the full stated 110 degrees field of view. However, in the Pimax Super Micro OLED I was only able to get 90 degrees vertically and 112 degrees horizontally. But this reduction in rendered field of view clearly has given some benefits in performance, and in this video I'm going to be giving a brief view of my findings. Now this is comparing apples to apples, in other words the Dream Air versus the Pimax Super Micro OLED. But I'm going to be diving into this more in a future video in some depth, but for now let's take a look at iRacing. And I'll also be putting on a through the lens overlay on the screen on the right hand side so that you can see how it looks to me too. But bear in mind this was shot using my iPhone 17 Pro Max, so the actual quality is obviously far better to the naked eye. So this was the one I couldn't wait to try first. In iRacing the view was stunning. I was getting a solid 90 FPS at 90 Hz, even without dynamic foveated rendering on. And yes, I'm using an RTX 5090, but if you're looking at a Dream Air, you're likely to have a high-end PC already. For transparency purposes, my PC specification is on screen now for you. Now the visuals are stunning, everything is smooth, the persistence is excellent with high-speed transitions happening with no ghosting, and of course no mirror or chromatic aberration that can occur in QLED panels. On the right hand side of the screen you will see the through the lens footage from my iPhone 17 Pro Max. And this is one of those rare examples where through the lens footage actually looks better than what you can actually see in the screen recording. It just simply was an absolutely electric experience. Now just for comparison purposes, I'm also putting on screen the actual performance graph, which shows actually the performance on the Pimax Super Micro OLED. I got around 82 FPS, which is obviously a significant reduction. I can only put this down to the fact that the actual rendered field of view is less on the Pimax Dream Air. So this is one I know that fellow YouTuber Mac in VR and his Discord crew will be desperate to see how it is on the Dream Air. Over to Le Mans Ultimate, again visually stunning, and performance wise this one was a shocker again, with around 15% performance improvements. The settings used were high and Pimax plays at 1.0 high in render resolution, and this is also using Pimax Play OpenXR, but also in line with similar gains found in iRacing. And again you can see from the through the lens shot to the right that the colours pop, the micro details in the cockpit view is incredible, and everything is pin sharp. This is everything you could wish for in sim racing. And I haven't played this one nearly enough, and I'll be featuring it more in a future video. And into Assetto Corsa Evolution. Now this has just had a recent 0.6 update, and in the 0.61 update I actually noticed a regression in performance. We just had then the 0.62 update and it seems to have leveled out a little, but still the performance is a long way off where it needs to be. But in Assetto Corsa Evolution this was incredible. The experience seemed far smoother on the Pimax Dream Air. And I was seeing an average FPS increase of 10 FPS, hitting around 75 FPS. Now that may sound pretty poor, but remember Assetto Corsa Evo is still in early development. My settings for AC Evo are in my Discord, along with all other sim racing titles. I've also created a Pimax help section in there too, so if you do have any questions, the link is in the description below, and you can also join my Discord for free, and I'll be sure to help you out if I can. Finally, Automobilista 2, and there's nothing better than driving a classic Formula car around Silverstone. And now, thanks to the Dream Air, you can even feel the wind in your hair, and the feeling of absolute immersion is breathtaking in this. And again, the stunning Micro OLED panels make everything pop, detail and depth is incredible, and the performance is smooth, achieving a solid 90 FPS at 90 Hz. If you look to your right, you'll see the through the lens footage too. But we all know that Automobilista 2 is fantastically optimised in virtual reality and literally is one of the best titles you can get for performance in virtual reality, sim racing wise. Razer Studios are absolutely knocking it out of the ballpark with this game at the moment, I must say, and the recent updates to this have been absolutely incredible. So again, on screen we've got the performance benchmark, and you can see we've got around 5 FPS difference in it. Not too much, but still every FPS counts in virtual reality. You can now order the Dream Air today by using the link in the video description or by scanning the QR code on screen just here and by using the code NLSImgaming25 to receive a discount. And as well as this, by using the code, you're also supporting the channel, and you can also benefit by joining my Discord, where I'll be happy to help you with any Pimax related questions or queries that you may have with your shiny new headset. And remember, joining my Discord is completely free. I don't charge for memberships and everybody is welcome. When making a VR video like this one, it can involve a number of outtakes, and in particular in racing sections where I'm often speaking during driving sessions. Now this can involve several hours inside of a VR headset, and fatigue can kick in and regularly does, as well as heat buildup from wearing a VR headset for a prolonged period of time, especially under the studio lighting. So I've got a couple of friends who are also both sim racers themselves, and they both commented to me previously that they will never wear a VR headset. One of them even going so far as to say I'm not wearing that bread box on my head, and he was referring at that time to the Pimax Crystal Light. But now both of them have expressed a strong interest in the Dream Air. Now during 2 days of testing and recording footage, what instantly hit me was that this was like putting on a pair of glasses. But the fatigue that I'd become used to was no longer an issue. And I had the enthusiasm to get straight back into a race, whereas before I'd be retiring a session and thinking I'll return back to it the following day. Now it's not all positive, however, so the facial gasket required repeated adjustments to get it sitting just right. And there was also some slight light bleed just at the base here, where it's not sealing fully. But Studio Form is sending me out their new Dream Air prototype Apache strap and also facial interface, so this is something that's easily solved. But more importantly for you guys, Pimax are also sending out all Dream Air owners a new revised facial gasket for free, and this will also come with all new Dream Airs from making of this video. This is a relatively small issue, but one that Pimax are obviously putting right. Now the design of the box, which connects the DisplayPort and USB connection with this Y splitter, is in an unusually high position. Now you do get used to it, but at first I was constantly adjusting, and I did notice it generated also a slight amount of heat. Not hot as in uncomfortably hot, but the VR headset module became warm to the touch also. But one great addition is active cooling, which is an absolute godsend, so there's no more fogging up of the lenses, which can be an irritation in other VR headsets. So the speakers are far better quality than I expected, and I would rate them above the quality of the Quest 3 and on par with the Playful Dream MR. But they are obviously not as deep bass as the DMAS on the Pimax Crystal Super. But the great thing about the Dream Air is that these arms are also removable. And the DMAS upgrade is planned for release at a later time, and I'll definitely be interested in seeing the difference. But also something that I find really unusual that nobody is mentioning due to the small form factor, you can also comfortably use normal headphones with the Dream Air. Now this is a game changer indeed, and I've been using my Astro A50X McLaren headphones with the Dream Air, which has been adding to the feeling of absolute immersion. So this is an unusual one. I've never owned a non-inside-out tracked VR headset. And when Pimax sent me the Lighthouse version, I had to purchase 2 Steam VR base stations. Now setting these up was super easy, as I primarily play seated games, so I mounted them just above the desk on both ends overlooking the sim rig. And I know this might not seem like the optimal setup for all users, but I'm absolutely blown away by the accuracy of these. And it also solved one of the biggest irritations I've been having about having to recenter the play space every time I launched into Pimax Play on the Pimax Super and also the Pimax Crystal Light. Especially if a headset is placed on the floor. I'd have to then go in and recenter the room just before each racing session. But now I just put on the headset and it's perfectly centered. So I now finally understand why VR users actively refer to Lighthouse tracking as the gold standard in VR. So of course there's a lot more to look at in upcoming videos, but in conclusion, the Pimax Dream Air is an incredible headset. It looks stunning, the build quality is excellent, and there isn't a lot to dislike, but there's a lot to love about this new small form factor. It's almost liberating, and I genuinely haven't been so enthusiastic to jump back into a VR session. It's almost like a feeling of childhood glee, something that I've not experienced with any other VR headset. Now I'll be doing a number of more specific videos on the Dream Air coming soon, But in the meantime, check out these other Pimax related videos. And if you enjoyed this review, give it a like, subscribe and a share, which would be hugely appreciated. And until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.